Mosby's Memoirs by Colonel John Singleton Mosby. Recording by Lawrence Skinner. Introduction. The chronicles of history record that in most wars some figure, through intrepidity, originality, and brilliancy of action, has raised himself above his fellows and achieved a picturesqueness which is commonly associated only with characters of fiction. In the American Civil War, or the War between the States, three dashing cavalry leaders, Stuart, Forrest, and Mosby, so captured the public imagination that their exploits took on a glamour which we associate, as did the writers of the time, with the deeds of the Waverley characters and the heroes of chivalry. Of the three leaders, Colonel John S. Mosby, 1833 to 1916, was perhaps the most romantic figure. In the South, his dashing exploits made him one of the great heroes of the lost cause. In the North, he was painted as the blackest of redoubtable scoundrels, a fact only to be explained as due to the exasperation caused by a successful enemy, against whom all measures were worthless and ineffective. So great became the fame of Mosby's partisan exploits that soldiers of fortune came even from Europe to share his adventures. Colonel Mosby was a Virginian of the Virginians, educated at the State's University, and seemed destined to pass his life as an obscure Virginia attorney, when war brought him his opportunity for fame. The following pages contain the story of his life as private in the cavalry, as a scout, and as a leader of partisans. But Mosby was the type of man who was not content with the routine performance of duties, and this was illustrated early in his career as a soldier. He was ever on the watch to aid the cause in which he was engaged. Stuart's famous ride around McClellan and Lee's attack on Pope before he could be reinforced were deeds for which Mosby fairly earned some share of credit. These enterprises, together with his prevention of Sheridan's use of the Manassas Gap Railroad, had a distinct bearing upon the successful maintenance of the Southern Confederacy for 4 long years. But his great work was his distinctive warfare near Washington against the troops guarding the Potomac. Behind the Northern forces aiming at Richmond, for 2 years of almost incredible activity, Mosby himself said, "I rarely rested more than a day at a time." He maintained his warfare, neutralizing at times some 50,000 troops by compelling them to guard the rear of the enemy and his capital. The 4 counties of Virginia nearest Washington became known as Mosby's Confederacy. Here his blows were almost incessant, followed always by the dispersing of his band or bands among the farmhouses of the sympathy.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?